Somebody call a doctor because bad medicine is back. That's Diamond Dave Damone. This is the Appleton Oak. He's the answer. I'm Mason Quinn. Folks, today we are taking a look at Attack on Titan. This is season 1, episode 15, and I have no idea what to expect from this show. Sometimes it's very emotional and sad. Other times it's got me so amped up I'm ready to run through a brick wall. I don't know what it's going to be tonight. Let's find out.
Well, we saw last episode in the courtroom. Got me really jazzed up and ready to go, so I'm definitely ready, willing, and able to see where we go from here.
Yeah, our guy Eren's face looked like he tried running through a brick wall after that whole scene. So big journey ahead of him. I'm excited to see how this one plays out.
Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
We're back. Can't wait. Levi, I hope he gets a receipt eventually. Eren, can't wait to see what happens with him. I'm just ready. Let's go!
Special ops.
Bruv.
Night before the counteroffensive.
I thought it was going to say Nightmare Before Christmas.
No, that's
All right.
well, maybe.
旧調査兵団本部まだ志だけは高かったお前を囲っておくには最適な物件になるとはな
It is always deadpan.
リヴァイ兵長つきっきりになるのか
Oh, what are you just...
Was that his tongue or a lip?
Bit his tongue, I think.
Yeah, as he was talking, yeah.
最初が肝心だあの新兵ビビっていやがったぜ
それが仮にもしリヴァイ兵長の真似してるつもりなら
俺の女房を気取るにはまだ必要な
全くみっともない
ペトララル討伐補佐数48体
48.
Wow.
Good work.
討伐39体
Ooh, 39. 9 assists.
討伐14体討伐補佐32体
32. Wow.
軍達手術討伐7体
Gunther,
Gunther.
the ring general.
雑草だらけだな早急に取り掛かるぞ
We have a little montage
Cleaning
here.
montage.
Didn't have a cleaning montage on my bingo card for this
I did
episode.
not.
俺はこの施設のどこで寝るべきでしょうかお前の部屋は地下室だ
Levi.
Again.
寝ぼけて巨人になったとしてそこが地下ならその場で拘束できる守るべきルールだ
Okay, at least get a nice cot down there or something and some lighting. Big screen TV.
ここでは兵長がルールだから現物のリヴァイ兵長は思いのほか小柄だし
俺が意外だと思ったのは上の取り決めに対する意に介さない人だと
調査兵団に入る前都の地下街で有名なゴロつきだったって
He looks like a guy in the old cartoon that'd be flipping the coin.
エルヴィン団長のもとに下る形で
エレンすべてやり直せ
Redo it. Do it again.
可及的速やかに彼が人類に利する存在だと中央に示す必要がある俺にも建前を使うのか相変わらず鼻が利くなお前ほどには効かない
Interesting tones there.
30日後には大規模な壁外遠征を考えてると聞いた
今回の巨人の襲撃は
本当ですか兵長
俺の担当じゃない
これまでと状況が異なりますからね突然全く別の希望が降って湧いた
That's you, by the way.
Yeah.
Say something.
とにかく無我夢中できっかけになるのは自傷行為です
Okay, self-inflicted injury.
そういえば俺は
こんばんは
Levi squad.
お待たせエレン街で捕らえた2体の巨人の生態調査を担当しているんだけど
Captured Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They had those too.
俺が何を
それはもう最高にたぎる
Wow, she's fired up.
She loves her science.
自分では下せません自分の権限を持っているのは
明日のエレンの予定
庭の掃除だ
ならよかったエレン明日はよろしく
Steaming up her glasses.
巨人の実験とはどういうものですか巨人の実験とはおいやめろ
聞きたそうな顔してると思っ
Not gonna lie, love her enthusiasm. Because I don't think they're gonna be that fun of experiments.
No.
聞かせてあげないとね今回捕まえた
Sure reminds me of freaking Neil Patrick Harrison.
こんにちは。
Oh, yeah,
look at all the
nailed
nails.
down.
調子はどう？体は痛くない？近すぎます。こんにちは。
Whoa, Jesus.
あるところに人間を食う一族がいた。人間の一族だ。
Yeah. I'm really surprised that they're depending on all those nails and
Yeah.
no way.
彼らは様々な食べ方を試みた。そこがお前たちとの違いだね。お前がソニー、お前がビーンだ。私はお前たちを死刑になんてしないから。
Sure, they want to be your pal with their
Yeah.
nails
Yeah.
through everything.
次に日光の遮断を試してみた。
Oh, find weaknesses.
お前は本当に夜更かしが好きなんだね。
Gosh. No way, man.
彼らは水も食料も取らない。唯一活動に必要なのは、以前捕獲した子たちは誤って殺してしまったんだ。うなじまで削ってしまってね。あの子たちには
Jesus.
あんな思いは二度と。ごめんだ。
She's got some sort of attachment to him. It's like,
次の段階からは巨人の体と接触する。
Whoa.
通覚の確認へと移行した。
Jeez.
巨人にうなじ以外の弱点がないか、とても辛い作業だったよ。
Jesus, this is getting rough.
心臓に刺さってるよ。どんな感じ？
It's nothing.
あまり反応を示さなかった。どうしたの？
Oh, I thought he got her.
今のは惜しかったよ、ソニー。あんた本当に死にますよ。自己表現が苦手なんだ。
She's very much trying to humanize them.
巨人を前にしてそんなに陽気でいられるんですか？巨人は俺ら人類を数多く体験してるはずなのに。
調査兵団に入った当初は、そんなある日私は気づいた。切断した3メートル級の生首を蹴っ飛ばした時だった。軽かったんだ。
Light.
Interesting.
That's weird.
何もなかったところから巨人の体が現れたと聞く。私たちに見えているものと実在するものの本質は全然違うんじゃないかってね。
That's interesting. They're totally different.
私は既存の見方と違う視点から空回りに終わるかもしれないけど、私はやる。
調査兵団に入ってから
Yeah, it is.
Pretty much.
変わり者だらけ。これじゃまるで変人の巣窟。
I mean, you gotta kind of be a little bit crazy, right?
Yeah.
実験の話をもっと聞かせていただけませんか？
いいの？
明日の実験のためにも。
Yes. Agreed, Aaron.
今の話じゃ省略した部分も多かったし、
Oh, you skipped?
最初に巨人を捕獲した時に
I was saying
They're
the
gonna do that.
transition.
They've been at it all night.
今まで話したことは訓練兵の時に教わってるはずだ。
I knew it all.
Once more.
半人分たち終わりますが、巨人が2体とも殺されました。
Oh, no more experiments.
Uh-oh. What happened? Whoa, whoa.
夜明け前に2体同時にやられたらしい。見張りが気づいた時には。
It is the sunlight.
ハンジ分隊長はご乱心だ。
Ooh.
一体。 あとは憲兵団の仕事だ。
君には何が見える？
Think Levi took him out?
敵は何だと思う？
Or him?
すまない。変なことを聞いたな。
You are not.
Are they trying to prove a point?
Well, I think,
Maybe.
you know, well, we'll get to it here.
Yeah, it looks like a bean.
Oh, what an episode.
Oh my goodness.
So, not only did Hanji doing all the experiments to him, she obviously became very connected with them.
Yeah.
I was hoping, well, we got a ton of information on the two Titans they captured already. They tried everything, which I'm really glad they did that. I mean, it is episode 15, but it's only the first season, so I consider that pretty early, that they're doing a great job of giving us as the viewer a ton of information about the Titans, kind of what makes them tick, things they've tried to do, because up until now, we've kind of been in the dark a little bit. I mean, we had a few ideas. We knew how to take them out. We knew they didn't need to eat or drink anything like that. They were just able to keep going, and that they didn't even need to eat. The humans, they just did it essentially
For game.
for
Fun.
games,
Boredom.
whatever.
Boredom.
So I really like where we're going here. We got kind of our crew of misfits, the Levi squad here. That's going to, I think, be very interesting. A lot of different personalities, which is going to make for, well, at least a lot of fun on our end.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to work out for these guys, but another fantastic episode. A lot of new characters to get to know. And I want to give a shout out to all of you out there. The comments have been incredible. No spoilers, just educating us. And I think we are finding ourselves one hell of a community out there, the Attack on Titan folks who are welcoming us with open arms. And I just want to thank you all for the comments.
First off, Levi making our boy Eren sleep in the basement? No wonder he stayed up all night, listening to the stories about the Titans. He's like, I don't want to go down in that basement. I mean, if you get a little nice throw rug in there, big screen TV, maybe make it your own little man cave type thing. No, this is a lot of fun that they went to an abandoned castle. They're like, we don't know how long it's been abandoned. Well, we don't. They said years. And so first things first, obviously you got to clean it up. And like we all thought, classic 80s cleaning montage, they're scrubbing the windows and such, but no. And then, obviously Eren doesn't know how to clean properly because Levi went and checked it out and said, clean it again, but
redo.
But Haji-san coming in and she is the consummate scientist that, I don't want to say she attached to him, but she wants to learn so much about them that, yeah, she might be getting slightly attached, but it's only because she wants to test her hypotheses, as we saw, that she had multiple of them and had to tell Eren over and over again that went from sundown to sun up. Yep. But now we have the mystery of who took out the two Titans, Sonny and Bean, because she could have learned a lot more about them and we could have learned a lot more about the Titans as well. The only thing is that maybe the smaller ones, when it's dark out, it's sleepy time, because we haven't really seen too many attacks by the Titans at night. It's always been during the day. So I wanted to get more and more information, but yeah, I'm ready to meet this whole new group of misfit toys, as you said. But yeah, this was another good episode, and once again, to be continued.
Yeah, and it's so difficult to capture Titans to begin with.
Yeah, and they got two of them.
Yeah, so that's the hard part.
I'm not so sure that I agree with Answer on that. I think she is becoming attached to them, and she's seeing them as more than Titans. And I see that's where I disagree. I think she's becoming attached to them and their personalities. I think it 1000% started off as science. Now, in the interest of avoiding any sort of spoilers, I will say I have seen similar storylines in some very popular war movies where prisoners of war are captured and you have conflicts among the opposing forces because you have a handful of people who are like, we need to treat them as a prisoner of war and as a human with respect and dignity. And you have another part of the group who's like, this is the enemy. This is who we're fighting against. This is who is taking out our brothers and sisters. We need to, off this person. And you see infighting among groups in how they want to go about handling, prisoners of war, or in this case, captives. I don't know that we would necessarily call it Titans, POWs. Or just, straight up, you have somebody in your custody for long enough and you get to know them in a different capacity than anybody else might see. So I think that's why she was so upset. I think, of course, there is a scientific aspect to it, which you'd be equally upset. Like, hey, you know how hard it was to capture these guys? And look, you might think whatever, but... she started talking. She was very upset when, obviously Bean was responding to pain. She was very upset about that. And so this was a really interesting dynamic. It was the first time that I think we've seen anybody express any sort of sympathy or whatnot to the Titans, but it was also very interesting that they were doing the experiments, trying to learn. And Answer brings up a really good point. Anytime we've seen attacks, it's been during the day, which begs the question, do they sleep at night? Which, of course, begs the question, if they are laying down and sleeping at night, that would be the time to go out as night attacks on the Titans. Interesting that they showed how they held them down with neck restraints and lots of nails. Which the one that, look, I think the show has
railroad spikes.
I think that the show has been the show's been just absolutely phenomenal. But if I have one gripe up to this point, they literally have like giant spikes all the way through their arms, and it's like, now we're gonna prod them for more pain. It's like you'd be in pretty rough shape if you did have any sort of pain cessations. But a good solid episode for advancing the story, and I said the same thing at the last episode, is they work in advancing the story without making it feel like filler episodes or like the show is dragging along. We didn't have any battles with Titans. We didn't have any of the swords flying or their gear, taking them from one end of the town to the other like Spider-Man, but it didn't slow down the pace, and that's the brilliance of the writing for this.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what experiments they might do to Eren, because if it's anything like that, I can't imagine it will be, because they're trying to use Eren for other purposes. But like, what kind of experiments is she going to do? Like, in my head, and I'm sure we'll get these answers, but in my head, I'm thinking like, well, the only thing you can do is, because it sounded like, if I remember right, self-inflicted pain is what makes that trigger.
Yeah, that's what he even said.
He
Yeah.
self-inflicted pain.
So, okay, we already saw that Levi beat the hell out of him. Nothing. So, like, what other kind of experiments can you really do to Eren without, like, taking him apart?
Right.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, he is still a human as well as a Titan. So,
he does have regenerative capabilities.
Regeneration.
Yeah, he can be regeneration.
Yeah. So lots of information. Yep. Lots of information that was dumped.
Words.
I almost kind of want to go back again and rewatch that, because I feel like it was just a lot.
It was
thrown at us.
it was a lot thrown.
So I kind of want to go back and see that again. But otherwise, I think it's been I wouldn't even call this a filler. This was a progression to learn more about the Titans. So now, of course, the mystery at the end. They did make it try to look like Levi and his dude there had a little bit potentially to do with it. So I'm still on the fence, because
intriguing.
There's things there that they laid out. It could be us, but then it's Levi. I can't imagine Levi's just going to go off yet and then just ruin science, because it seems like he has a good relationship with her, that I can't imagine he would ruin her studies. So,
well, they all did get up and leave when she wanted to start talking about the
Yeah,
experiments.
well,
Like,
and
look,
maybe they've all heard it before.
We've heard enough of it, or maybe
and they know it
just,
was going to go like 24 hours.
maybe they just didn't want to hear her
tight 10
talk,
hours.
talk her sympathetic talk about the Titans
could be.
either.
When
Like, hey,
they
look,
don't-
we're all
when they don't
out
want
here
it.
trying to battle these things. We've seen them take out our friends and family, and you're here giving them names like Sonny and Bean and getting a
Sonny. Jeez.
Sonny. Look like
Respect for the Titans.
Sonny.
Show him a little respect.
No
Put some
respect.
respect on his name. But it'll be interesting, and it's I like the term that you used. So often we say filler as kind of a negative connotation, and you say it progressed the story.
It was a progressive
episode, which is pretty spot on.
Yeah, the thing that I found interesting, and they didn't spend a lot of time on it, but they talked about how light the Titans were.
Yeah.
When she picked up
that was
the
very-
arms
Kicked
of
the
them,
head.
kicked the head. So I'm just wondering how that's the big thing that's kind of got the wheels turning a little bit. Like, how could they use that to their advantage? If they're that light, could they use some kind of traps or something? Because for Hanji to just pick up the whole arm and hold it like it's nothing, that was very curious. how
What
it's
is
gonna play
interesting,
out.
because like when you hear now granted it's the bigger ones, but when you hear the footsteps, it's implying like
They're heavy. and
Yeah, they're
solid.
heavy.
So
Right.
maybe that's why they're so light you don't hear them. That's why that one appeared.
Yeah, the one was like a
out of
ninja,
basically
yeah.
thin air.
It is very interesting, and you'd also think, Diamond Dave brings up a great point when they're walking, the thud, thud, thud. If they also had a very, very light composition, one would think it could make that increasingly more difficult to break through a giant wall as
Right.
well. It's like, look, you get
That's why you get the armored one.
a battering ram running into a wall versus a bird flying into the wall. It's like, hey, what's it
What
gonna
if the
do?
bird is the
Gonna
same
do
mass
more
and
damage.
speed going in?
Well, then
Science.
it's a whole nother story for another time.
Oh God, this was another great one. Can't wait to get on to the next one. So for Diamond Dave, Appleton Oak, that's Mason Quinn. I'm of course the answer. We'll catch you on the next one, pals, and R.I.P. Sonny and Bean.
sleeping in the basement?
最後にシャフトを交換したのはいつだ？
6日前の。
巨人を殺して罰せられることもあるんだな。巨人が憎くてしょうがなかったんだろうな。
手を貸したようなもんだよ。
バカだからな。わかる気がする。調査兵団になるつもりだったんだぜ。今日所属兵団を決めなきゃいけねえのに。知らんのやつ。
What a build
The
up.
details, man.
後悔してるなあマルコ。もうどれがお前の骨だかわからなくなったよ。
They lost a lot.
怒らずに聞いてほしいんだけど、ジャンは強い人ではないから。
Jeez.
現状を正しく認識することに長けているから明確にわかるだろう。
おいお前ら所属兵かは調査兵団になる。
くそ。
アルミン、あんたはどうなの？死ぬ理由が理解できたらそうしなきゃいけない時もある。
Whew.
アルミン、お前まで。
あんたありがとう。実は結構優しいよね。はって欲しくないみたいだし。
Background music is pretty
Yeah.
emotional.
別に私はただ自分が助かりたいだけだよ。
Slowly, little piece by piece, we get a little more on Anne.
この後の新兵勧誘式の方が心配だ。
うちを志願する奴はいるのか？いましたが、今はどうかわかりません。
No, those horses were on the Walking Dead.
Oh. Be gone already.
Be gone.
紹介に出るぞ。はい。おはようございます。リヴァイ兵長。行くぞ。
I like Eren being all in to follow Levi right
Yeah,
now.
with Levi's crew.
Yeah.
And more specifically, Levi himself.
本当に調査兵団に？怖くはないのですか？
はあ調査兵団なんて
お前なんで？
こればっかりは自分で決めずに務まる仕事じゃねえよ。
Yeah, you can't half-ass it.
It's got to be for you.
エルヴィン・スミス、率直に言えば調査兵団への勧誘だ。
Huh, yeah.
この戦いで人類はこれまでにないほど勝利へと前進した。
We're giving props to our guy.
彼の成果があるシガンシナクの地下室には彼も知らない巨人の謎があるとされている。
I want some answers.
All right.
この100年にわたる巨人の支配から
Let's get it. Let's get it.
地下室だと。
そのことまで公にするなんて。
I love how Armin's like always 5 steps ahead, or at least trying to be.
シガンシナクの地下室を目指す。ウォールマリアの奪還が必須となる。東のカナデスクから遠回りするしかなくなった。4年かけて作った大部隊の航路、調査兵団の6割以上が死んだ。
So brutal. A lot.
今期の新兵にも死亡する確率は3割といったところか。
Just gotta make it through those first 4 years.
Yep.
自分の命を賭してもやるという心臓を捧げることができるのかを。
Anyone? Any takers?
一人も残りませんよ。
The wow, is all of them? Not one?
Boy, the music in this episode.
Oh, I know.
They're staying.
これ以上自分を嫌いにさせないでくれ。
ここから動かないと。
村のみんなも俺を見直せ。
Wow, that crew thinned out pretty hard, huh?
Yeah.
死ねと言われたら死ねるのか。
知りたくありません。
新たな調査兵団として迎え入れる。心臓を捧げよう。
Oh!
みんな。
最悪だ。
It's terrible.
裏に帰りたい。
もういいや。
泣くくらいならよしとけってんだよ。
よく恐怖に耐えてくれた。心より尊敬する。
Interesting.
That music was good.
そして相葉のシャレット。こいつは髪の毛を。やめろ、シャレット。
Shut up!
This is the guy that's going to be teaching us?
Can't even train his horse.
頭に叩き込むことが主だった。エレン・イェーガーの配置が示されていないことだった。
この布陣の中で最も安全。この壁外遠征が極めて短距離なのも志願しなくに送るための試運転だからだ。あの時の団長の質問の意味が分かったか？
敵は何だと思う？
先輩方。
いいや
しかし俺もしかしたらこの作戦には
Oh yeah.
ならば俺たちは行って帰ってくることに終始すべきなのさ。
Just do your job. You don't need to know.
ちょっと同期と話してきてもいいですか？さっさと行けよ。
エレン、
しばらくぶりに会った気がするぞ。
何かひどいことはされ
I mean,
Well,
had to clean.
Like investigating it.
ねえよそんなことは。
あのチビは調子に乗りすぎた。
Thank you.
まさかリヴァイ兵長のこと言ってんのか？ここにいるってことはジャンと兄とマルコだけ。まさか。
マルコは死んだ。
なんて言った？
どんな最後だったかもわかんねえよ。あいつは誰も見てないところで。
新兵集まる！制服が届いたぞ！
Here's Ness.
Oh, we need to get some of those.
That green cape.
I
Yeah?
want a cape.
Why not?
Might as well just cape or robe.
I'm thinking full-on cosplay. I mean, if you're gonna do it, you should go all the way.
Says the guy in the white T-shirt.
Fan Expo Chicago's coming up, boys. Summertime.
They faked me
Yeah,
out there.
yeah, it was a
in.
fake out for sure.
私たちも今度の作戦に参加する。
ミカサを殺そうとしたらしいな。
Keep that on the down low.
エレンはハエを叩こうとして。
お前には聞いてねえよ。頬の傷はかなり深いみたいだな。
Titan hitting a fly.
ミカサを殺そうとした。
らしいってのは記憶にねえってことだな。
That was one time.
Yeah.
Well, 1.5.
Before that, I
Just
defended.
relax.
He saved him.
We've been over this already.
俺たちと人類の命がこいつにかかってる。俺たちはマルコのように
Jesus, dude.
今ここでエレンを追い詰めることに。
何のために命を使うのかを
It's kind of fair.
きっちり値踏みさせてくれよ。自分の命に。本当に頼むぞ。
Eren, you better be able to get it together.
団長、間もなくです。開門30秒前。
調査兵団だ。かっこいい。
また一歩前進する。
Yeah, let's go. Here we go. Oh, what's gonna be out there?
I'm guessing we're not going to find out in this episode.
Yeah.
And fade to black.
進め。
Hanji-san was on the right.
敵外調査を開始する。
57.
前進せよ。
Motivated.
That.
Oh, see, look at that.
He was motivated.
Of course.
Oh, there's the bean again.
I really like how they do the animation with all the facial expressions on here. It seemed like it really jumped out at me on this episode. I know they were doing it before. I know that's been the style since day one. But as I'm getting, more and more into the story, becoming more attached to these characters, that it just hits different now when I see the way the faces are drawn and the attention to detail and just the way they do it, because it's such a different style. And I'm sure it's familiar to many of you out there who watch, maybe this style of anime. But for me, somebody new to it, I'm really starting to dig it and really get into how they show expressions and things like that. So that was great. The music on this episode was an absolute banger. Really set the tone a lot. We had kind of a quiet piano. We had some more motivational stuff, and they've been doing an excellent job with the music.
Oh, yeah.
This whole series. But it's just, I just felt that for this episode, it really kind of hit on another level a little bit for me. And there's still a lot of issues with not trusting Eren and how they're going to truly use him to help humanity. And he really needs to prove himself. I'm hoping that the next time he indeed does turn into a Titan, he can control it, or maybe his friends can help him out a little bit. We saw Armin when they drove the sword into his shoulder and was able to kind of snap him out of it a little bit. So that's a possibility. I did really like how they really kind of hit on the point of, yes, if you're signing up for the Survey Corps, you should be afraid to die, because that's a huge possibility. And if you're going in there and you don't have that fear, there's something wrong with you, because you're not being realistic with the situation, and you won't make your best judgments and you won't make the best decisions at that point. So I like how that was kind of a little bit of a theme through this episode. I like that we got that from some of the characters, and it just what is in the basement?
I know.
Yeah.
What are we, I mean, here we are. We're going to be going on episode 17 here, and maybe we'll find out what's in the basement. Now, I know before they would set us up with questions and then give us answers right away in the next episode. That hasn't necessarily been the case in quite a few episodes, and I know many of you out there in the comments said, that was kind of how it was early on. Don't get used to it. It's going to be a little bit different. But again, you folks have been fantastic in the comments, making this a lot of fun and really helping to fill in any of the missing spots that we may have. So I got a lot of questions. I'm hoping I get some answers later on.
Yeah, I mean, we had, what was it? Erwin that was leading that was saying, you guys can do whatever you want. If you do this, we have a very low succession rate. If you come back, though, you become a high superior soldier. Like, oh, yeah, that happens because you just survived and, like, the lower class all went out there and got, dismantled. But, like, you even had the one questioning himself, like, if he could be the military police, his mom would be proud. And so, like, he was thinking about that for a second.
Be back home.
And what I liked about that style animation there, where they're all just standing there and everyone's just peeling out around them, but they're really thinking about what they're going to do. And, like you pointed out too with Armin, how he's always like 3 to 5 moves ahead. Like, okay, what's his deal? What's his angle that he's going with here? Why does he want to get to that basement? Why is he telling all of this us right now? Because who knows how many people were supposed to know about getting into that basement, as far as, the higher officials and so on and so forth. Like, who needs to know that? Do all these people that are now going to go to the military police and garrison class, do they need to know that we're going to go into that basement? Because now they do. I mean, they're not going to go outside the walls, but...
And then they've got so much riding on Eren.
Very, very much so. And, like, they keep questioning him, but then we saw that there is a lot, riding on this. And then, but I love that we had Mikasa back in the fold and ready to whoop some ass, which was great. Mikasa. And so it was nice getting her back in the fold with Armin and the rest of her crew, because they're all in this together. And so I can't wait to see this 57th expedition outside the walls that they got us. We knew they weren't getting to it this episode, but still got us in the end, got us charging out. We're all ready to freaking throw fisticuffs. And it's to be continued, just every time.
To be continued. Look, I have a feeling from the comments that we have seen that they're going to play the long game on a lot of these storylines. Mason Quinn brought up the basement. What's in the basement? And now it's like, I know we all want to see what happens with Eren the next time he turns into a Titan, and of course, how Levi reacts to all of that. And I'm guessing now that they're outside the wall, maybe we are gonna see that, but who really knows? So but as I said before, they keep everything really intense. They keep you really sucked in. I loved the ceremony that they had and the way they showed the emotion, who was gonna stay. We started seeing more and more people leave. And it's like that time lapse you get in like military movies with like Hell Week for the SEALs, where they show like everybody standing, and then it's like the short fade, and there's people
less
are
and less.
and then the fade, and there's less and less, and they make it dramatic, and then they stop, and this is who we're left with. That's what we got here, and the gentleman, kind of handling the ceremony, who's telling people like, look, 33% of you aren't going to come back. 33%.
A lot.
From your first mission. Most of you won't be here after 4 years. I mean, 33% the first time is like, that's such a wild number. And so to put that out there and have people to have to really let that sink in, that there's that, that much of a likelihood that they won't be back. That's, are you going to go that route, or are you going to go to the military police? But there's also the sense of pride, and his answer brought up, like, look, if you can make it through it, you are the elite. Diamond Dave had brought up, Levi getting his receipts at some point. We finally had Mikasa come in and say she was gonna get some payback for that. They kind of, it seemed like they abandoned a little bit the subject of the, of the Titans being 86 after they were experimented on, which I thought was interesting because there was a lot of buildup there. Who did it? What? And then it was kind of, we didn't get answers there. But I know there's not going to be answers for everything.
And it looked like Hanji-san was in the front of the horses coming out for the expedition now too.
He's ready to go. But another really good episode. Again, not a ton of action per se, but as Diamond Dave had said in the previous wrap-up, it definitely helps progress the story.
Yeah, this one was actually a pretty good one, I thought, because like I saw kind of some comments on here and it brought it to the front of my head. It was good to see them not put so much focus on Eren. There was the other characters they were putting a little bit more focus on, which was nice. It was good to see a little bit of a reunion between Eren, Mikasa, and Armin. I was kind of wondering when we were going to get back to them being together, because I did miss that in the last episode, like that vibe of their crew being together. So it's nice to have at least they're in the same area now together. So it'll be interesting to see now moving forward. Mikasa with definitely watching Levi there for a little, or at least moving forward until this is all resolved. Back to the door or the basement. I still keep it here, but I understand where we're going. But at the same time, it's like probably like at this point in time, like probably a lot of you guys, where it was just like, man, where is this basement? Why aren't we there yet? But I am being patient with that storyline because they got a lot of good stuff going on here as it is. With there was a bit in here I thought with what's his name? Is it Gene?
Yeah.
Yeah. I still can't get a read on Gene.
No.
Like I feel like
tough.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of them have the thought of like, look, it's that classic line. Do you want to go out on your feet or on your knees? And I think if you join the Survey Corps and you make it and you live and you have a chance to fight, it's going to make you that much stronger. You will go out on your feet. If you join the military police, you're going to kind of hang back and you'll be safe until the time comes and you're not safe and the Titans are there, and then you're not going to have the training to save yourself or others. So, I mean,
there's what you're looking at for Gene right there. But yeah, because like
he didn't, for dedication to a friend.
Yep, because he didn't even see Marco. He's like, he didn't have a glorious like death or anything like that. It happened without any of us noticing, and unfortunately, that is gonna happen. And so, but it's
so
still
many.
But it's still hard because it's like that was his friend, that was his buddy, and like he feels I think like he wasn't even there to even help or try and stop it from happening.
Yeah, well,
so it's hurting him even more than
You know, an interesting thing with the Gene or genre, as many characters as we have, is a lot of them I think are going to be conflicted about what they want to do. I mean, like you put that in front of you, the risk of not making it back versus, the military police. Everybody seems like that's the comfortable thing, but if that's what you do, look, there's still Titans out there, and somebody's
got to take care of them.
Somebody's got to go take care of them, and if you don't get people out there doing that, then like what? So you might not lose your life tomorrow or the next day or the next week or the next month, but if you don't defeat the Titans, all you're doing is prolonging the inevitable.
Yep. And they got comfortable too, because remember how many years it was before they actually had a Titan attack.
100 years. And so now, so I think there's a lot of characters where, and I think they're doing that to show the internal conflict that they have. What do you want to do? Do you want to take, per se, the easy route, or do you want to, like you said, you want to go out and try to get shit done and know that there's a need for people who are willing to make those sacrifices, and if you don't have people step forward that are willing to make those sacrifices, then everybody's screwed. Everybody.
And I hope with the basement storyline, I hope we find out who did that to the Titans sooner than later. Because that one I
Yeah.
hope isn't as long as what we're doing
Oh,
here
the
with the basement.
The long game.
And I'm pretty sure we'll get that
Well,
answer.
thing is,
My
like-
fear is my fear with finding out who took out the two experimental titans is that if we have so many things start to progress with the rest of our crew, I'm afraid I'm not going to care
Yeah.
by the
That's
time
true.
we get the answer, if it's not something groundbreaking or some crazy twist or something like that.
Well, I hope they just keep the high pressure stakes on it. Because I feel like in that episode, and I think we did a pretty good job talking about it, like how the scientist's name, I forget her name already.
Hanji-san.
Hanji.
Hanji.
Hanji-san.
Hopefully I'm saying that right. You know, they made her incredibly emotional, just basically distraught over losing them. So, like, I hope we keep that in the forefront a little bit here because, you know, that way it keeps it important to, well, us four. You've already seen
I'll
it,
only
but-
be worried about her if she tries to stop them from taking out Titans. That's the only time I'll be worried about. Otherwise, it's all been inside. But also, when they're getting to the basement, we keep thinking, oh, it's not that far. Well, we have to remember that's where they attacked, and everybody moved off of that, out from that safety of that area, whichever wall that was. I'm sorry, I forget the name offhand.
Is this basement door going to turn into the Grand Line for me with watching One Piece, where I'm waiting for him to get to the Grand Line? And some of the folks in the comments of that were like, oh, we're like 1,000 episodes in and they're not there yet.
I was just gonna say, One Piece is still going versus AOT where it ended
Right.
at 100-something episodes.
Yeah.
So
I think you're good. I think you're good.
So there you
have to
go.
wait too long.
So just, on that note, only 80 to go. So for Diamond
that.
Dave, Appleton Oak, that's Mason Quinn. I'm of course the answer. We'll catch you on the next one, pals.